Hi guys, this is Lolly with Rustic Rooster, handmade farmhouse decor. I have always wanted my own craft cart, as I feel that I tend to pile my craft supplies all over the house. So I thought if I had my own cart, I could easily move from room to room when working on different projects. And I don't know if you feel like me, but I went online and researched some different craft carts and found that they were way more expensive and cost a lot more money than I was willing to spend. So my next thought was, how can I make one of my very own? And so that's what this video is. I got an old dresser for free. It was missing one of the drawers and it was just going to be taken to the dump. So I went and picked it up right away and brought it home, and this is the process of me turning it into my own craft cart, and I hope that you like it as much as I do. As you can see from the video, I started by removing all of the excess pieces of wood. I took the back off, took out the bottom lining of each drawer, and now I am working on sanding all the edges just to get rid of that smooth finish, so that it will take my paint and be able to be a lot more durable and long-lasting. So this project took a lot longer than I anticipated, but I learned a lot in the process and really enjoyed the way it turned out. After I finished sanding, I took a wet cloth and just wiped all of the excess dust from the sander off. Now I am just using a white paint kind of as a primer. And I didn't want it to be a nice even coat because just like the name Rustic Rooster, I really like my pieces to look old and distressed, more on the rustic side. So I just did kind of an uneven light coat of white, so some of the darker parts are still showing through. And then I chose a kind of a yellow, almost a buttercream, just a little bit darker than a butter yellow. And I'm doing the same technique with the yellow. I don't want it to be nice and even. I want some of the white bits to show through, some of the darker bits. So I painted the whole thing yellow. The paints that I used for this project were actually all recycled paints that I picked up from our local dump. You should check around in your area and see where you can get free paints instead of buying all new ones for small projects. Next, I got the Folk Art Home Decor Wax to give my project an antique look. And I'm just applying it. I first started with a paintbrush in some of the creases, but found that that wasn't giving it the right look I wanted. So I pulled out a wet wipe and began dipping it in and wiping it all over. And then once you have it on, you can use that same wet wipe or a different one to wipe it off. You can see that in some places it came off really easy, other places it stayed in a little dark, and I really liked that look. That helps to give it the older, faded looking antique look. As the baby wipe starts to dry out, it's harder to remove some of that excess wax, so I just spritzed it with water and continued removing all of the darker wax that I didn't want to stay. Then you can see in these pictures I'm starting to add the containers to my cart, and I'm gluing them down with E6000 and with hot glue. The hot glue helps it to bond immediately, while the E6000 helps it to be more secure and is left overnight to completely dry. And then I took different hangers and hooks and I measured where I wanted them, drilled holes, and started applying them with zip ties. This process took longer than I thought, as I needed to make some of the holes bigger a second time, but it was really easy to attach them with the zip ties. I went ahead and continued the process on both sides, adding all of the hooks and hangers that I got, and just getting really excited about what it was going to look like when it was all finished. So the way I made the zip ties work was by drilling 2 small holes right on either side of the wire. Then I would pull the zip tie through, loop it through the metal wire and back behind the wall, and secure it together. It was very easy. At this point, I put the little shelves back on. These were the base of each drawer where you would slide the drawer in, and so it was just used to kind of stabilize the shelves. And I am going ahead and using small tiny nails to tack them down to hold them in place. It was really easy to get everything put on once everything was painted and dried. and just watch it kind of come together. After I finished the cart, I realized I did like the color scheme of the yellow, turquoise, and gray, but I really liked that turquoise a lot. So I removed any of the parts that I attached that were white and spray painted them the turquoise so that everything matched in the end. I added the casters to the bottom of the cart so I'd be able to easily wheel it around through the house without it getting caught on different depths of carpet. So here I am just bringing the camera a little bit closer so you can see how I'm fitting those zip ties in and easily secure all of my hooks and hangers to the cart. Again, zip ties was really the best and easiest way to go with this project. And then I played around with the baskets on the top. These baskets did come white and I spray painted them the turquoise. And I just played around with where I wanted them to fit. I added 2 holes to each side and then zip tied them right to the top. I first thought about nailing them or screwing them in, but then I realized with this cart and the shelves being so thin, I would have to have more of a nut and bolt type, and so the zip ties seem to work best. And there is the finished cart. You can see little baskets on the outside, some hooks, and places for ribbons. I've got the hole in the top that allows space for all of my long papers. And then the blue baskets that have been secured tight so they don't move, hold all my odds and ends. Space on top for extra storage. And then the sides have lots of room, so if I'm in the middle of a project, I can leave it. I can pull my baskets out with the paint. Right here's a 4th of July craft I was in the middle of, so I can just leave it and go and not worry that it's left out for my children to get into. Here's the other side, lots of room to hang things and store things that don't hang. I love this cart so much, I couldn't be happier. So this cart all in all was just under $20 for the free paint that I already had, the free dresser, and then all of the parts that I added on came from the Dollar Tree. Guys, I had so much fun making this craft cart and the video for you. Thank you for coming and watching my first video and supporting me on this adventure. Check me out on Facebook at Rustic Rooster Handmade Farmhouse Decor. See you soon!